Και βέβαια δεν γιορτάσαμε το 40 μου. Γιατί άλλωστε. Κέρασα απλώς τα παιδιά από ένα μπακλαβά το βράδυ σπίτι.
Μας το βρωμόσκυλο ρε! Μας έχει τρίξει εδώ και 2 μέρες! Δεν απαντάς,
Μένεις κοντά.
Ναι, λίγα τετράγωνα πιο κάτω.
Ναι, μάλλον. Ποιος είναι?
Μη φοβάσαι, Μαρία.
The BDE.
You will have to interact with the most pathetic of all creatures. Human males.
If they don't like me because I'm trans, then it's their loss. I'm not gonna change myself just because this one person doesn't like it.
If you knock me down.
Hello, and welcome to the 15th annual Los Angeles Greek Film Festival panel and Q&A series. My name is Laurel Yanolos, and I am the events coordinator. The Festival Darlings Q&A is a favorite here at LAGFF, and we are so excited to be able to keep the tradition alive virtually this year to honor and praise the newest wave of Greek voices in cinema. These films have recently been screened to great acclaim around the world at festivals including Busan, Berlin, Cannes, Venice, Locarno, Clermont-Ferrand, AFI Fest, and Thessaloniki. LAGFF prides itself on being a platform to spotlight innovative and creative new Greek talent to new audiences. This year, we have a panel of artists who invite us into their artistic creations, which challenge, inspire, and open our eyes to new realities. Before we get started, let me remind you that this is a live webinar. Simply type in your questions in the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen, and we will answer your questions at the second half of the hour. For those of you watching on Facebook Live, if you would like to join the conversation, you can find the Zoom link right on Facebook or go to www.lagff.org by clicking the Events tab on the homepage and then find the Film Darlings tab. Quickly register and you will receive a Zoom link in your email. Without further delay, I am so excited to introduce you to Lida Galanou. Born and raised Athenian, Lida has always been drawn to film, and when she realized it could also be her profession, she followed her passion and received an MA in film critic from the City University of London. As an editor and film critic, she has worked for publications such as Cinema at the Athens International Film Festival and Thessaloniki International Film Festival. Lida is a film critic at the editor's newspaper, I Efemerida Ton Sinton, and is the owner and editor of Flix.gr, your source in Greeks for all things film. Χαίρετε, Lida.
Hi, Laurel. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Laurel, for the introduction. And many thanks to the Los Angeles Greek Film Festival for giving everyone, us included, this opportunity to get to know the filmmakers who are literally shaping Greek cinema of the years to come. These are the names we're going to be talking about, hearing about, and writing about. We're here today with quite a diverse group, and that's what I think will make this discussion interesting. There are filmmakers who live and work in Greece and others who have made their films abroad. We have fiction films, but we also have a documentary. We have romances, dramas. We have films which were made with practically a non-existent budget, and others which have had state support or maybe a more comfortable production. I think it might be a little forced to try and find common ground in the content of everyone's films, although we'll try. But I'm sure you'll have a lot of experiences to share about the filmmaking process and what you went through to make these films. We all know that making films, short or features, is a very hard job. So we'll talk a little bit between ourselves in the beginning, and then of course we'll take questions from the audience. Remember that this is a discussion, so feel free to jump in whenever you have something to share. It's kind of casual. So welcome everyone. I think a good way to start would be if we went around the screen in the order that I see you, and maybe you could briefly introduce yourselves and your film and give us an impression of where you stand now, how the film did. Many of you in the meantime, well, not many of you, but some of you have already finished the feature film. Others are on the way. So if we could briefly go around everyone to get an image of where everyone's standing. We don't see the order in the same way. So we'll start on my right, which is Christina. Christina, if you'd like to start.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for all the introductions. My name is Christina. I'm from Thessaloniki, but I'm in Los Angeles now, and I've lived here for the past 4 years, where I'm working as a director and as a voice director. I came to study at the American Film Institute, and Witchin, which is my film playing, it's my thesis coming out of the master's program. Should I talk about the story, what the film is about?
I think a few words would be great. Yeah.
The film is about a young witch student who has to make a potion assignment for her class. But she needs a special ingredient which only men have, which is called the big dick energy. And so she has to travel to the world of humans and do all sorts of things to try to get that ingredient. It's clearly comedy. And yeah, I'm also working on the TV series version of it.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Great. Telia, would you like to do a brief introduction?
Sure. So hello, everybody. My name is Telia Petraki. I'm the of Bella. And Bella is basically a portrait of a woman during the late 80s. And right now I am developing my first feature, finally.
Well done. Jacqueline, we're on to you.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline, and I directed The End of Suffering, a proposal, which is experimental science fiction, low budget film that suggests that people may come from other planets as well. And at the moment, I'm working on my new treatment for my new project. That's all.
But in the meantime, you did finish a feature film which was presented.
Yes, it was presented. And now I hope I can be able to travel to Berlin to present it myself, but I think that it won't be able, so I don't want to talk about it. So it's okay.
Okay. Thanasi, could we hear from you?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm Thanasis. I live in Athens. I'm the director of the short film Escaping the Fragile Planet. It's basically a boy meets boy tale a few hours before the world ends. It's a sci-fi sort of queer romance. And currently I'm working on a new script, which I think started as a short, but it might come out as a feature, I don't know. I'm currently working on that.
That's great, good luck.
Thank you.
Stavro?
Hello, everybody, I'm Stavros. I wrote and directed Madonna F64.0, which was my first film. It's a film about a young transgender girl that we follow her at the first days after her healing, after the sex operation surgery. And we try to understand and research the boundaries between the acceptance in her family home and how the past and the future combine in these first days. I'm currently trying to develop my next short film.
Great, good luck to you too. Constantina?
Hello, my name is Konstantin. I'm a New York-based filmmaker, but I'm currently in Greece. I've been staying here during COVID times. I'm presenting today Draw With Me, which is a short documentary that was created in partnership with the Trevor Project, the leading suicide prevention line for LGBTQ youth. And it's about a youth in transition. And I generally work in social impact films. And I'm currently in Greece working second feature film, which will be a great adaptation from a book that many of you will know once it comes out.
Oh, great. Interesting. Thank you, Konstantin. Nico?
Hi, I'm Nikos Pastras. I'm the writer-director of the film Melatonin. Hello to all. Currently, I'm in the late stage of editing of my first feature film, Bastards. And Melatonin is about, it's a love story in a music festival. And it has to do about, it's about love and sleep disorders in one sentence.
That's great. And let's complete the introductions with Anastasia.
Hello. Hi. Hi. I am Anastasia Sima. I wrote and directing Antivirus, my second short film, and it's a social drama. And I'm working my first feature film. The initial story of Antivirus is about a young girl of a foreign origin who lives in Greece, and she's been harassed by her next door neighbor.
That's great. Thank you all so much. So to start off this discussion, I think we should start with the subject that I'm sure you have the most to share, which is production conditions. If you could talk a little bit about difficulties you might have faced or things which were surprisingly easy, that would be a surprise. Where you had support from, where you wished you had support from, and maybe you didn't. So if we could start talking a little bit about this, I don't know if Jacqueline would like to begin, and then maybe we could go on with Stavros and we'll see who else wants to add something.
Yes, with the particular short film, because it came straight from the heart, I didn't have any expectations, therefore I didn't have any budget problems, because in order to have a problem, you must have a target, and I didn't have a target. I just went to shoot it, and I was very happy to have the support of my producer, Fenia. However, in the feature film world, there are significant problems in how Greece, at least until now, was handling the whole funding situation. However, now we're very hopeful because there's a new regulation, and I think things will be much smoother. But I didn't face, with a particular short, this is the truth, I had no problems, and this is why it's so flowy as a film, I think.
Stavro, could we hear about your experience?
Yeah, that was my short film, my first short film, and I didn't have funding, so I had to fund it myself. So I had to serve a lot of tequila shots and coffees for a period of time to collect some money and try to make it a low budget film and no budget. And it took me some time. I think the whole production finished in like around 2 years. Throughout 2 years, and of course it couldn't have happened if I haven't met like some incredible people like my producers Eleni Molfetta and Marni Films, Mina Dreki, and people that, you know, if you don't have money then you either have time or people. So I was very lucky that I got a lot of great people in my team. So yeah, but as Jacqueline said, I think with the new regulation of the Greek Film Center, I think and hope that everything's gonna run a little bit more smoothly from now on.
Yeah, let's hope so. Who would like to add their experience or ask questions about the others' experiences? It's true that short filmmaking is even more collaborative than feature. There is a need for it to be. So I'm sure that you all had very supportive teams. It's very important. But apart from that, maybe things you didn't expect to see happening or things you would like to see changed. Celia, I can see you wanting to say something about this.
Well, I just no, really, because Bella, and it was just a short, and it was very, very difficult. So I cannot imagine how difficult it is to direct and produce a feature-length film in Greece. I mean, there should be the big problem that we're facing as Greek film, I don't know, production area. And so, yeah, I think the real issue is in our feature films and the productions for our feature films. I mean, as the others said before, Stavros and Jacqueline, yes, the new regulation might help us to create easier our project, because right now I think it's almost impossible, and I do admire every single director that goes ahead in Greece and makes a feature-length film. I think this is incredible, really.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to add something about this? Okay, let's move on to the reason why we're here, which is festivals. You've all had festival experiences. It's interesting to find out how it helped you, what impressions you got from it, also from your participation from this particular festival. We all know that for Greek filmmakers, it's very important, especially concerning networking. So if we could talk about this a little bit. And if your participation in festivals or in the awards trail in general has helped you find your way in a better way, has helped you achieve goals you had set for yourselves. I think we could start with Konstantin on this and then see who else wants to add things.
Thank you. I feel that, every film has kind of like a path and a life of its own. In case of Draw With Me, I was very grateful whenever we had a festival or things like that, because it creates a platform for conversation. But specifically for Draw With Me, it had a little bit of circle outside just the festivals. It's become an educational tool for the New York State Department of Education. And it was actually the first film on transgender issues to ever screen at the United Nations. And so I feel like, it's important festivals that are good for networking and, to get the word out. But I feel like every film, people say, oh, damn, I didn't get into that festival. I won it because it's the top festival, but I don't think it really works that way. Films find their way, especially now with Zoom and technology and YouTube. So it's just to make the films and hope that they reach the right eyes and ears, in a sense.
How does everyone feel about that? Do you have the same opinion that in a way films will find their way if they're going to? Who'd like to talk about this a little bit? I was again going to ask Celia. I'm not doing it on purpose, but yours was a film that came out of festivals particularly. I don't know how the experience was.
I do believe that if a film is good film, it can find a way out somehow. But I'm sorry, when you asked the question, something happened to the internet and you froze. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. No, the question is about the festival experience and how you feel if it has helped you achieve some goals maybe that you have set for yourself in your career, what the festival experience does for your work. And also, if you'd like to talk about your participation in this festival.
Well, the festivals in general and the film, they seen by a lot of people. Can you hear me?
Yes, but not very well. Let's do it. Let's do it once more.
Yeah, I have some issues here. Yeah, but
It's okay. We all have issues in these days. Don't worry.
yeah. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my connection, really.
It's okay. Who'd like to share their festival experience and how it made them feel and work? Anastasia, would you like to give us an impression of? Oh, Anastasia, you're muted. You have to unmute, to press the unmute button.
For me, it was the first time that I went to a festival, to Drama Film Festival. It was a very good experience. I think that is very important because we can show our project and we can see other cinematographers. It's a good experience. And I think it helps me a lot with the audience award and for the next level of my work. I think it's important.
That's great. Anyone else would like to give an opinion? Well, what we should discuss also is the conditions that we find ourselves in, which is, of course, the pandemic. We're all in the same boat, on the same boat on that. Some of you actually made your films during the pandemic, but you all screened them, shared them during this period of time. So I was wondering if you feel that that has affected them, the films, the process that they went through, if things might have been different if it happened earlier or later, and also how it has affected you as filmmakers, but also as film goers, as movie watchers. If you have come to feel differently this past year, positively or negatively, I think we could ask Thanasis Tsimbinis about this, particularly because your film was shot before the pandemic, but it has come to be discussed as prophetic because it presents a very similar situation in different colors, of course, in pink colors. So would you like to start on this subject?
Yeah, actually it wasn't a fun ride for me. My film was completed in March 2020. It was just the beginning of the pandemic, at least in Europe or Greece. So my first thoughts were that people would be really confused about if I was inspired by the pandemic or if I'm even capitalizing the pandemic. So I was feeling kind of guilty. And the first feedback we had, it was really, I don't know, confusing itself. But when the film actually came out and I was in drama too, then I actually interacted with people and they shared live their opinions about the film, and it was a different story. And people told me that, yeah, the timing is strange, but it felt really relatable. And I guess it's a part that it would be missed if the film came out in a different time before the pandemic. So yeah, it's as we said before, that the film has a life of its own and finds its own journey. But yeah, the timing was strange, and it still is. We had to put a disclaimer on and everything. Yeah,
that's unbelievable. Who else would like to share their impressions of filmmaking during the pandemic? I don't know if you had actual, well, the feeling of people watching your films for one thing, online mostly, unless some of you had a physical screening in Drama Film Festival, which was like the only place maybe that it happened. So I'm very interested to know how it has affected you, but also personally, not only your personal lives, but as filmmakers and film watchers. Nico, you want to go?
It's a difficult time for cinema. It was difficult even before the COVID virus for the cinema itself, the theaters. And it definitely is a different experience to see a film home or in a laptop or in a tablet. But I think that we have to get used to have other experience in a theater, others at home, and I think it's gonna be equal. I think it's gonna split up in those platforms. I don't think that theaters is gonna be ever as it was before 20 years. So I think it's hard, but it was a kick to go to this new era like sooner that it was to be. I wish that that is not gonna happen, and the theaters are gonna fill up with people again and more. And but in the end of the talk, I don't think it's a different job to do. It's the same. The size. It's different, but that we have to do it's the same. We don't have to do something else. As the COVID, as the shoot itself, it's easy to sorry, I'm the bad happens that the bad things that the COVID thing do to cinema, it's common. It's not easy to shoot a film with a lot of people. It's not easy to shoot a film at all. You have to do tests and have measures. But I don't think that we are, as filmmakers, change anything. I don't know if I'm very. If you understand what I am saying.
No, I think we all feel it. I think we all feel it. I'm sorry, I have a barking dog. Who else would like to share their feelings? Stavro, would you like to give us your?
Yeah, following the thought of Nikos, I think that this mostly affects the distribution field. Like I think I noticed a lot of new platforms specifically for short films the last year, like popping up. And from the one hand, this is, I think, interesting in a way, because like this whole online presence of the festivals already opens up to a wider audience, and like sharing your film, and especially your short film, which is also a discussion for the last years or ever, I don't know, that it doesn't really find a distribution. This year approached a lot of different people that most of the times wouldn't be able to attend the festival. So that's a nice one, but that's a nice aspect of it. But I think that the experience of the darkened theater will never go back. Like as Aklin said, everybody's waiting for Berlinale being in an open air cinemas and watch their films. Or like I think that I see like Thanasis already also has like physical screening, I think next week or the next month. Like everybody's excited for this, and it's okay. It's nice that we have like the accreditation of every festival now, and we can attend from our home screens a festival in LA or in Japan. But being in the theater, eating popcorn and having a cigarette after a film and talking about it, I don't think it's going to change. I think even more now, everybody's much more excited and we can't wait to go.
True. Who else would like to share their feelings on that? On how the pandemic has affected us and has affected cinema going?
Oh, sorry.
No, you can go ahead. It's okay.
Okay. No, you go ahead. I'll catch up.
Okay, I'm going to be brief anyway.
You're both very polite.
We're not gonna... Okay, so I just believe that the online viewing thing, it was a positive. It's something positive for the short film format. I think it worked well for short films and very specific because it's easier to watch. You can go ahead and stream your short films and go and visit many festivals and so yeah, for the short films I think it worked well, and that's why I believe many festivals thinking of incorporate online screenings when the movie theaters will be open. They're gonna have online screenings as well, because that was it's something that worked well for the short film format. That's what I wanted to say.
Right. I think we understand what you're saying. I think it's true. Something you wanted to...
I wanted to mention that, in general, filmmaking is about limitations. How to, as the first question that you asked, and a few of the guests here mentioned about the struggles of getting money for a film. I think the pandemic is just another limitation that applied to the whole equation. And, I always think that through these limitations, like one of my favorite filmmakers is Lars von Trier and the Dogma 95, and that's all about how to work with minimalism. So I think that, these challenges benefit experimental filmmaking. I don't think the struggles are what make it beautiful. The struggle just, filmmaking, one thing that's special in compared to writing a poem, you can write a poem quite easily, but a film takes a lot of energy and people and stuff. So that's why people should really think before making a film. Why do I want to make this film? Because if you're making a film just to make it, you're putting yourself through a big ordeal. So it's best you know why you want to make it.
Right. Anyone else would like to add on this?
Can I speak?
Of course.
Yeah. I believe that the online festivals for the short films, it was a good opportunity because the audience had no way to see these movies, the short films. So, but from the other hand, when you make a movie and you make it for a big screen and you have you put money to do a color correction or to do the sound to be surround or everything, it's a lot of things. So if you make a film for a big screen, it's a completely different thing. This that you say, Konstantin, I agree that like Dogma, I have this experience because I make antivirus with nothing because it was the days of the first lockdown. So because these days everything it was closed, the shops, everything. So if I need something, I make the movie with anything I had. So without lights, with physical light, with a mobile phone, and yes, you can make it, you can do it. This makes you, this motivates you to be more creative, to have a lot of creativity, to thought a lot how you can do the things. It's more like a romantic situation to try to do to shoot like this. I enjoyed it a lot.
Definitely.
It was very fun. I had a lot of difficulties for sure, but I enjoyed. Yeah, because in 2 days I had finished with the shooting. I had an actor, an actress, I had a dog, I had a room, her room, and I had the opportunity to manage this and to make it something that that can tell the story.
That's great. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you. We have a lot of questions from the audience, so I'll start with these. Let's start with a question for Jacqueline. The viewer says, I love the dialogue in space. I'm not sure, have you seen each other's films, but this is what happens in the film. I love the dialogue in space. How did the idea come to you? Did it come from thought, experience, or is it a metaphor for a feeling?
Hi, thank you for asking a question, which means that you probably liked my film, so I'm happy already. And the answer is that it's a product of experience, as everything, and experience involves feelings, thoughts, and other entities. So it's a product of experience.
Great, thank you, Jacqueline. We have a question for Christina. It says, a comedy about witches. Tell us how you came up with the story and what your goals were.
Thank you for the question. The story started when I took a trip to my favorite Greek island, Samothraki. I don't know if any of you guys have been there, but it's a very kind of, it has a special energy kind of island. So there's a lot of playfulness and discussion around the themes of witches and fairies of the forest and dark forests and waterfalls and all that kind of stuff. So that was basically the perfect place to be inspired from. And also when I was there, I first heard about this viral trend, like saying on Instagram, big dick energy, which basically almost implies that confidence equals this big dick notion, basically something that a guy would have. And being surrounded by a lot of girls, I thought that this would be an interesting, fun concept to use through a more sarcastic lens and kind of subvert what the meaning of that phrase is and make it a more ironic, cynical viewpoint of how basically the world runs and what we consider confidence and what we consider power. So yeah, my goals were pretty much to subvert the trope of that and make fun and have fun during the process as well.
That's great. Thank you, Christina. We have a question for Nikos. I'll read it to you as I see it here. Nikos, what about sleep and sex? It's beautiful how the film is wrapped up by the song. I think it's a beautiful question, so answer it as you, I don't know, whatever it makes you want to say. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. Nico, unmute yourself.
Unmute. I did it. I don't understand exactly. It's a very poetic, poetically written question. It's what the relationship between sleep and sex.
I think so, yes. But you also have to say something about how it's wrapped up in a song, because it is important.
I don't understand it. What it says about the song in the end.
It's true the question is a little vague, but maybe you could answer whatever the question makes you feel. I mean, anyway, Nikos, sleep and sex.
You can have sex when you're sleeping. While you're sleeping. I don't know. It's a very tricky question.
Okay, give you a minute, and if you think about, okay, go ahead.
It bends my mind. The question.
I think that's nice. We'll give you a minute, and if you think of...
I wanna say thanks to whatever sent it, and I appreciate it, but I don't understand anything.
Okay. Thelja, here's a question for you. Your film is highly personal and based on real letters, which is true. Can you talk about the origin of the film?
The origin? Where the
I guess where the idea came from, or how you found the material, maybe, or how it started.
Yeah, well, the husband of this woman, because the woman Anthi is based on a real person, this character. Her husband gave me these letters, this correspondence of theirs between them, a correspondence between them. There were like 40 letters that belonged to Anthi and 40 letters that belonged to Christos. And I chose to concentrate on Anthi's letters. And that's how I wrote the script, based on these letters.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Thelja. There's a question that's addressed to everyone. So whoever wants to answer can, which is, what is success to you? Come on, you must have thought about that.
To me, success is whenever your next film is made easier than the one before, it means you're on a good path. So I don't think of success as reaching a specific point, but when the struggle becomes, means you're kind of being supported unit and more by audiences, because if you want to watch what you're making, the industry.
Constantine, did we lose the last part of your answer? Did I only?
Oh, I thought I finished. I said it all. That if I said that, most importantly, it's the audiences. Audiences want to hear your stories, and then the industry will follow, or the budgets will come. If you're not, you have to start with an audience and expand an audience, and then everything else will follow. And even for for very niche filmmakers, it's finding a way to reach that niche audience, I think.
Great. Anyone else would like to talk on about success and what it means to you?
I can, well, for me, Celia, yeah. For me, success is to be able to like the result of your work, which is very, very difficult. Yeah.
Great. We have a question that's addressed to everyone, but I think I'd like Stavros to answer first, and whoever else wants to add something. These films that you made are quite thought-provoking topics and challenge a lot of issues that have been really taboo in Greece before now. Can we expand on the process of why you chose these topics?
Yes. Yes. So I had this idea to do this film when I was in Drama Film Festival, actually, and I saw a film about two Muslim young girls carrying a baby and couldn't, I don't know, they were struggling something a little bit in their, due to their religion. So I was doing a study about trans identity, and then I just figured out that for some people in our society, like literally next to us, even the thought of having a family and exploring motherhood or parenthood in general is absolutely forbidden. And for that, for me, that was like a little bit too much to address back then, because we're not talking about some specific people, we talk about a large part of our society. And I'm talking like 6 years ago, which was already in the queer community in Greece. The situation was much worse than now. I think we've achieved a lot. We gained a lot of field in everyday life. We have a long way towards a better tomorrow, but I think we're getting better. So as for art and like issues that we address in our society, I am a little bit more interested in this kind of subjects in a way that I'm interested in politics. So I think, but I cannot say that this is only the way to address something through art. Like, it's just like another way. It's just another aspect of it. I don't think that necessarily art, film, theater has to be political, but I find myself interested in this, towards that direction.
Good. Who would like to add to this subject? Most of you have done films with subject matters which at least some years ago would have been considered tricky. If you want to think about it a little bit, I can go back to Nikos's question, because we have the explanation, which is, what made you put the two together, sleep and sex?
The idea came with the characters, that they both had sleep disorders, and I think of them like the two opposites. The one sleeps all the time, and the other one don't want to sleep. So I made them together. So it's not about sleep and sex. It was like a gimmick to make them close, make them get close, not to, in some philosophical way, connect the sleep with sex. Something interesting is the connection between sex and death, because sleep is like and the way we saw it in the film is like a little death. The sleep that they share in the end. I think I don't have a better way to answer the question.
Yeah, I think that's a very decent answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Jacqueline, somebody would like to know if you've had supernatural experiences. Supernatural experiences, I'm sure you can.
A very private question.
Oh, if you'd rather not answer, you could.
I'm joking. Supernatural.
Because it is.
I know. Supernatural, as in if I have spoken with dead people or if I have walked on the sea. Look, can I tell you something? I think life is very absurd in itself, if it's something. And I think life gives to everyone numerous supernatural experiences, but I think it's in our eye to regard them as supernatural or not. So many crazy things happen in my life, but I don't think they're supernatural. I think they're just amazing. So I'm amazed by them. So yes, this is the answer. I have had many supernatural experiences.
Okay, one more which is addressed to all of you. And I would love it if you would all answer, because also we don't have too much time, so it's an opportunity to share your thoughts. What is your outlook on current Greek cinema? Do you feel a part of it? What does it consist of, and where is it going? Who would like to start?
I can start if no one's
good.
If no one's jumping in. For me, you know, I lived most of my I've lived in New York for almost 20 years, and I'm now back to Greece. So it's an interesting question for me. One thing I found was, you know, when you're making films, they can be between stories and countries. It's not one thing, but I find the Greek community quite united and excited in making stuff. So for me, it's interesting. And, you know, as I said, I'm working on a Greek adaptation right now. So I really, you know, I never thought about making, but now that I am, for me, after living many years abroad, Greece is exotic to me again. So I'm looking at it from kind of like, almost like someone who's never. For me, Greece has all of this like rich history and traditions and mystery and, you know, the location itself. So I'm quite excited to be working in Greece right now.
That's wonderful. Another opinion? Someone who'd like to share? Celia?
I can. Do you hear me?
So, let's try again.
Okay. So I do believe that here in Greece right now there is a lot of talent and a lot of energy, and I believe that things will, you know, move forward in regards to the move. Did I say it? Did you hear me?
I think we're... No. Could you say it again, please?
No. Yes, I just said that in Greece there is a lot of energy and a lot of talent in regards to, you know, the people that are making movies right now. And I do believe, I mean, I can see that the future is bright. Really, you know.
That's very optimistic.
Yeah, I know.
That's great. I mean, who else would like to share their opinion?
Can I add some optimism?
Yes, please do.
also relating to what Konstantin is saying, because I've been making movies in Los Angeles for the past couple of years, and I also see Greece as a very exotic, exciting place to be and to make films. Also because of the very unique character and the special locations in the country, but also because comparatively to the States and specifically Los Angeles, where the budgets are always higher and higher and higher than you ever imagined. And there are always a lot of more systemic kind of difficulties that you have to face as an individual and as an artist. It looks to me, Greece looks like a place where you can have a little more time and a little more flexibility with smaller crews to let your creativity flourish a little bit more. And also the opportunities in terms of the government funds, which I know it's always a problem and a hassle, but in the US, there are no government funds. So that option is not even existent. So I see a lot of creativity, yes, flourishing in Greece, and a very beautiful character for Greek cinema that develops more and more and more. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's great. Thanasi, we have very little time, but I think you wanted to say something right before.
I did? I'm joking. Okay. Yeah, I'm very interested in Greek queer cinema and the future of it. So I would like to hear and see more voices, more queer voices, reclaiming their own stories and their own narratives, and have more queer representation in Greek films. That doesn't have to be always or necessarily coming of age stories or dramas or even romance like my own film. They can be thrillers or anything. So it's been so many years in cinema history that straight people have been telling us stories like that. And of course, they have given important films. And what matters is the film itself in the end. But films are also experiences, as Jacqueline said and agreed. So I would like to see experiences that come genuinely from the heart and from the real life, you know.
I think that's the perfect point to sum up this discussion. We're out of time. It was lovely seeing you all and hearing you after watching your film. Thank you so much for being here. Best of luck to all of you, and please feel very proud of the work you're doing, because we are feeling proud of you. So let's go back to Laurel for our goodbyes. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lida, and to all of our darlings, Delia, Christina, Anastasia, Stavros, Jacqueline, Konstantin, Thanasi, and Nikos. Thank you for being here with us today, and thank you for your films. And thank you to all of our sponsors, and a special thank you to all of you here joining us today. Thank you for your continual support of Greeks in cinema. Before we log off, make sure you're registered for the other panels and Q&As we have scheduled for the next week. Thursday, May 27th, we have our panel with the Greek Film Center discussing all the new and innovative incentives to filming in Greece, including the government's 40% tax break. And on Saturday, May 29th, our highly anticipated live roundtable panel on how the need for diversity is changing the industry, a live dialogue between African Greeks and African Americans in the entertainment industry. You can find the complete schedule on lagff.org under events, and make sure you're following us on Instagram and Facebook for the latest updates and surprise events this week. Until Thursday, bye for now.